Packing for a trip to Europe, especially if it's your first time, can be an overwhelming experience. It's easy to make mistakes that can detract from your vacation, but with some planning and the right mindset, you can avoid these common pitfalls. Having traveled throughout Europe extensively, we have learned quite a bit about the do's and don'ts when it comes to packing. With this guide, we'll break down the biggest packing mistakes people make on European trips and how to sidestep them for a smooth travel experience. Overpacking clothes, a common trap. The most frequent mistake I see is travelers bringing too much clothing. Many pack large suitcases overflowing with outfits they'll never wear. In the US, it's normal to bring more than necessary, but when traveling to Europe, a different approach is needed. Overpacking makes navigating Europe's often cramped, stair-filled cities a hassle. To avoid this, take 5 minutes to plan your wardrobe. For instance, when my sister planned her first European trip to Prague, she was initially overwhelmed by the idea of fitting everything into a small carry-on for a 10-day trip. But after we sat down and planned it out, she realized it was more than possible, and you can do the same. A few key tips to consider. 1. Research the specific climate. Europe is diverse and its weather can vary greatly depending on the region and season. A one-size-fits-all approach won't work, so check the forecast for the countries you're visiting a few weeks before departure, and then again closer to your trip to finalize your packing list. 2. Pack for versatility. Focus on bringing versatile clothes that you can layer and mix and match. I often use the rule of 5s, packing 5 tops for a 10-day trip and rotating them with a few bottoms. This way I don't overpack but still have multiple outfits to choose from. Washing clothes during your trip can also help cut down on how much you need to bring. Simply toss a few items in the washer if you're staying somewhere with laundry facilities and hang them to dry overnight. 3. Shoes matter. When packing shoes, it's important to prioritize comfort. You'll likely be walking far more than you anticipate. Most men can manage with 2 pairs, while women can usually bring 2 to 3 pairs because their shoes often take up less space. For example, I bring 1 pair of walking shoes and 1 pair of running shoes since I like to run when I travel. My wife usually opts for walking shoes, sandals, and a nicer pair of shoes for evenings out. 4. Consider cultural norms. Keep in mind the cultural expectations of the places you're visiting, particularly when planning visits to religious sites where covering shoulders and knees is required. My wife often brings a scarf to quickly meet these dress codes. Choosing the right bag. Another mistake that can ruin a trip is choosing the wrong type of luggage. Many travelers bring giant suitcases, which are cumbersome in Europe's often narrow, cobblestone streets and stair-filled accommodations. Opt for a carry-on. It's not only more convenient, but it also forces you to pack smarter. I suggest going with a packable day pack, which is a small, foldable bag that expands when needed. This kind of bag is perfect for day trips or when you're out exploring. When it comes to jackets, always pack a lightweight option, even in summer. A rain jacket or windbreaker that packs into its own pocket is ideal because it saves space while ensuring you're prepared for unpredictable weather. Don't forget the essentials. Forgetting key items can seriously disrupt your trip. Here's what you should never leave behind. 1. Passport. You won't get very far without this. In addition to your passport, it's a good idea to bring printed backup copies of important documents, including reservations, travel insurance, and your driver's license. Store these in a Ziploc bag deep in your luggage for safekeeping. 2. Medications. Make sure you have enough of any medications you might need for the trip, and it doesn't hurt to bring the actual prescription in case you need to explain your meds during airport security. 3. Electronics and adapters. You'll need a way to charge your electronics, so bring a universal adapter if you're visiting multiple countries. If you're only visiting one, a region-specific adapter will suffice. My preferred adapter can charge up to 6 devices at once with multiple USB ports and AC outlets. This is incredibly handy when you're juggling a phone, camera, tablet, and more. 4. Phone chargers and power banks. Always bring a long phone cable, as outlets in hotels can sometimes be in awkward locations. Additionally, carrying a lightweight power bank ensures your phone won't die when you're navigating with Google Maps or staying connected through WhatsApp. One of the most stressful aspects of traveling in a foreign country can be dealing with connectivity issues. I highly recommend using an eSIM such as Olafly, which allows you to switch to a local carrier without the hassle of physically changing your SIM card or racking up high roaming fees. With Olafly, you get coverage in over 180 destinations with no roaming fees, and their Europe plans come with unlimited data for more than 30 countries. This eliminates the need to hunt down Wi-Fi or pay steep charges for basic tasks like checking maps or messaging. Gear what you do and don't need. Many travelers, myself included, suffer from gear acquisition syndrome or the urge to overpack unnecessary items. While some gear can enhance your trip, others will just weigh you down. Here's a quick rundown of what you should leave behind. First, physical guidebooks. As much as I love guidebooks for planning, they take up too much space in your luggage. Instead, take notes or download digital versions. Next, specialized travel items. You may not need certain items unless you have specific plans. For instance, a microfiber towel is great if you're staying in hostels or visiting the baths in Budapest, but otherwise it's unnecessary. Then passport holders and money belts. Passport holders often require you to take your passport out when needed, and money belts, while useful for security, aren't always necessary. Instead, consider pants or shorts with zippered pockets or a small sling bag worn in front. Contrary to popular belief, not everything you pack needs to be rugged or technical. Unless you're planning to hike, avoid heavy-duty hiking gear like boots and technical pants. However, one area where you shouldn't cut corners is socks. Investing in moisture-wicking socks will keep your feet comfortable, especially given the extra walking you'll be doing. Smart packing items to bring. On the flip side, there are a few simple and cheap things that I always bring with me and I never regret it. Here are my top recommendations. First, an Apple AirTag. Use it to track your luggage in case it gets lost or stolen. Second, dryer sheets. They help keep static cling at bay and keep your bag smelling fresh. Third, a pen. You'll always need one for filling out forms during the trip. Fourth, an HDMI cable. This is a bit unconventional, but if you want to stream something in your room, it's handy. Lastly, a reusable water bottle. Staying hydrated is key, especially during long travel days, and having your own water bottle saves you money and reduces waste. The great luggage debate: to check or not to check. One of the worst mistakes you can make is assuming you need to bring a massive checked bag. I'm not saying you shouldn't check a bag if you need to, but most travelers can get by with a carry-on. Many first-time visitors to Europe are shocked by the challenges of dragging a huge suitcase across cobblestone streets, up narrow staircases, and through busy public transportation systems. Here's why a carry-on often works better. Navigating cities. Many European hotels, hostels, and Airbnbs don't have elevators, especially in historic areas. If you have a big suitcase, lugging it up multiple flights of stairs can be exhausting. Getting around. If you're visiting multiple cities or countries, a carry-on is much easier to transport between locations, especially when dealing with trains and buses. Cobblestone streets. Wheeling a large suitcase over uneven cobblestone streets is not only difficult but also loud and disruptive. A smaller carry-on is easier to maneuver in these environments. If you're committed to bringing a larger bag, be prepared for the logistical challenges that come with it. Otherwise, give serious thought to downsizing. Conclusion. Packing for Europe can be a daunting task, but with some planning and a strategic approach, you can avoid the common mistakes that often derail trips. Stick to versatile clothing, choose the right luggage, bring essential electronics and adapters, and be smart about what gear you pack. Whether you're planning for a short city break or a longer multi-country adventure, these tips will help you pack efficiently and enjoy your trip without unnecessary stress.